Hey friends, Derek here from B.O.M with another day of B.O.M-BITES, where we feast upon the words of Christ one bite at a time. So I want to finish up this week showing you our wonderful, great deliverer, Moses, right? Just a reminder of kind of how we started off this week about this journey of Exodus. Israel is enslaved, they're put into bondage and made to suffer under tremendous burdens by Pharaoh in Egypt. God raises up a great deliverer to get Israel out of Egyptian bondage. Now you remember, the story within the story here is you're not reading about just the children of Israel. You're reading about us as we are stuck in this crazy world that we live in. It is a good world, but the influences of the world are sometimes so overpowering and so burdensome to us that we need a great deliverer to help us through this. Well, I want to show you Moses for a second, something that helps me love Moses even more. I don't know about you guys, but when I do read about prophetic inadequacies, I think I love the people even more. When I read about Nephi in the Book of Mormon, Nephi is, I will build a ship, all of those things. 2 Nephi chapter 4 is when I all of a sudden start relating with Nephi as he starts saying things like, "Oh, wretched man that I am, my heart groaneth because of my sins and the iniquities that are so easily beset upon me." And I'm just like, yeah, okay, I can relate to that. I think when I see the human side of a prophet, I'm okay with that. And I think it helps me love them even more because I can now relate to that. So when you see Moses, here's Moses going through his prophetic inadequacies. You see him in chapter 3 where the Lord says, "Moses, I want you to go to Pharaoh and I want you to tell him to let my people go." And you go to verse number 11 where Moses says, "Who am I that I should go into Pharaoh and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt?" He recognizes, I'm just a Hebrew guy who, he went through all of those things that we talked about earlier this week about his priorities and popularity and power. He got rid of all of those things. And now he is stripped to humility. And he's just like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. You go to chapter 4. Chapter 4 has got one of the coolest little succession of verses here, where again, the Lord says, "Moses, let's go do this." And Moses in verse number 10 of chapter 4, he says, "O Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant. But I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue." He's like, I can't do this. I can't speak very well. And the Lord said unto him, "Who hath made man's mouth? Or who maketh the dumb, or the deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Have I not the Lord? Now therefore go, I will be with thy mouth." That's a cool statement. "And teach thee what thou shalt say." Now, I love the King James Version of the Bible. I love starting there. There are times also where I will go and I will use other versions of the scriptures. You've seen me do that many times. I think there are things that we can learn from those. I want to take you to the NIV for a minute and look at these same verses that I just gave to you and look what it says here, and to see what lessons are given to those who feel inadequate in church callings or whatever it is. Moses said unto the Lord, "Pardon your servant, Lord. I have never been eloquent, neither in the past nor since you've spoken to your servant. I am slow of speech and tongue." The Lord said unto him, "Who gave human beings their mouths? Who makes them deaf or mute? Who gives them sight or makes them blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go, I will help you speak and will teach you what to say." Hopefully all of us can relate to that, who you feel inadequate, whether it's in parenting, whether it's in teaching, whatever it is that you've been asked to do. The Lord's like, look, I got you. I will help you through this. Then what happens is you go to the next few verses 13 to 15, where Moses says, "And he said, O Lord, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him who thou wilt send." Now that verse is a little bit wordy. So again, let me hop over to the NIV. I love the way this says this. But Moses said, "Pardon your servant, Lord. Please send someone else." How many times have you and I felt that? It's like, there's other people that would be so much better than I would be in this situation. Verse 14 in the King James Version, "The anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he said, Is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well. And also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee. And when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart." So check out the NIV here with this. Then the Lord's anger burned against Moses, and he said, "What about your brother Aaron the Levite? I know he can speak well. He is already on his way to meet you, and he will be glad to see you." And then I love verse 15. "And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth and with his mouth, and will teach you what you should do." Now, taking you over to the NIV for this verse, "You shall speak to him and put words in his mouth. I will help both of you speak and will teach you what to do." There's such a cool lesson here. Can you imagine being a parent who's having a difficulty raising a child, and you read these verses and hear the Lord says, "By the way, I will help both of you and will teach you what to do." I think there's some phenomenal lessons for you and I as we're going through, and the Lord has asked us to do very difficult things in this world, and we're just like, "I am so inadequate," and the Lord's like, "I know, I am aware of that, but let me help you through this process. Do not try to do it by yourself. Because when you do it by yourself, it's not going to work, but allow me to help you through this." And I love that. So in the Come Follow Me for this week, it actually gives you some suggestions with these verses as well. It says, God gives power to those he calls to do his work. Today, we know that Moses is a great prophet and a leader, right? You can't argue that. But Moses did not see himself that way when the Lord first called him. "Who am I," Moses wondered, "that I should go into Pharaoh?" The Lord, however, knew who Moses really was and who he could become. As you read Exodus 3 and 4, which we just went over that, note how the Lord assured Moses and responded to his concerns. What do you find in these chapters that might inspire you when you feel inadequate? How does the Lord bless his servants with increased power to do his will? Now, I love here the references to Moses 1 and over into Moses 6, how you almost can't read these chapters without going back to Moses chapter 1, because that's the context of this. When have you seen God do his work through you or others? And so as you look at those things, if you've ever been asked to do something difficult, you've been called upon to do difficult things, please know that the Lord will help you. I remember in my bishop's office when I was called, I had right in my office the phrase, "When you are on the Lord's errand, you are entitled to the Lord's help. For whom God calls, God qualifies." That's a quote from President. It's kind of a couple of Thomas S. Monson quotes put together. But whenever someone would come to me and they're like, "I can't do that calling," I would always point to that and just say, "Look, you can do this on your own." Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could do my callings on my own, but I can do it with the help of the Lord. He will help you. He will put words in your mouth. He'll help you through this process. I can testify to you that that is absolutely true. I've seen it happen in my life, and it can happen for you as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And thanks so much for sharing these messages. We love that you do that. Please go check out our amazingly comfortable gospel-themed socks at bombsocks.com. And you guys have a great week. Godspeed. See ya. Bye-bye.